All right, let's just jump right in. We are about to completely change how you look at making a presentation. Seriously, forget that feeling of dread. We're going to reframe this whole thing as a creative process, one where you take all those brilliant, maybe kind of jumbled ideas in your head and shape them into something clear, compelling, and just powerful. You know the feeling, right? We have all been there. Maybe you're in the audience and you're trying so hard to follow along, but the speaker is all over the place. Or worse, you are the speaker and you can literally feel the room's attention just slipping away. That sinking feeling of being lost in a sea of information, yeah, that's the classic sign of a presentation that's missing a solid backbone. And this quote, well, it absolutely nails it. Think about it. A backbone gives your body structure, right? It lets you stand up straight. In the exact same way, organization gives your ideas a framework so they can actually stand out and be understood. Without it, even the most amazing idea can just fall flat. So why do we care so much about this? Well, it's a win-win, really. For your audience, a clear structure is like a roadmap. It lets them follow your thinking from point A to point B without getting lost. And for you, the speaker, it's your safety net. It makes sure you hit all your key points in a logical order and don't wander off track. It's what turns that mess of ideas into a single, clear message. Okay, I want you to think of yourself as an architect for a minute, but you're not building a house, you're building a powerful argument. And before any architect starts building, what do they need? A blueprint, a floor plan. That is exactly what these 4 organizing principles are. They're like 4 different floor plans you can choose from to build your presentation. So let's open up our toolkit and see what we've got. We have chronological, spatial, topical, and problem solution. Each one of these is built for a totally different job, and picking the right one is your first big step to building something solid. Let's take a look at each one.
First up is chronological. This one's pretty straightforward. It's all about time. You start at the beginning, you move to the middle, you get to the end. This is your go-to for telling a story, explaining the history of something, or walking someone through a process step by step. If your message is all about how we got from there to here, this is your floor plan.
Next, we've got spatial. This is basically your virtual tour guide mode. It's all about physical space. You'd use this if you were describing the layout of a new office, or explaining the different sales regions on a map, or even pointing out the parts of a new gadget. You're creating a mental map for your audience, moving from top to bottom, or maybe left to right. But what happens when your topic is just huge? Like, say, the future of artificial intelligence. I mean, where do you even start? That's where the topical approach is your best friend. You just take that giant subject and you break it down into smaller, logical chunks, like AI in healthcare, AI in finance, and AI in art. Suddenly, this massive topic feels way more manageable. And finally, we have the problem-solution structure. And let me tell you, this one is a powerhouse. It's maybe the most persuasive tool you have. You start by painting a really clear picture of a problem, making the audience really feel its weight. And then you ride in with your solution as the obvious, necessary fix. It's a natural story that is fantastic for calling people to action. Okay, so we've picked our floor plan. We know if we're going chronological or topical. But how do we actually, draw the thing? We use an outline. The outline is the actual blueprint. It's the tool that brings your structure to life, mapping out exactly where every idea and every piece of evidence is going to go. Now, this next part is super important. This is where a lot of people go wrong. There are 2 very different types of outlines. First, there's the preparation outline. That's your full script. It has everything written out in full sentences with all your research. That's for you when you're practicing. But the speaking outline, that's what you actually use during the presentation. It's just keywords, phrases, bullet points, little prompts to guide you. This is the secret to sounding natural and not like you're reading an essay out loud.
And believe me, all that work you put into making an outline, it pays off big time when you're speaking. It keeps you focused, it guarantees your points flow logically from one to the next, and, maybe the best part, it dramatically reduces your nervousness. Seriously, knowing you have a solid plan is the biggest confidence booster you can possibly have.
All right, we have our structure, we have our outline, we're feeling good. Now let's talk about the finishing touches. These are those little details that take a presentation from just good to great. They create that smooth, professional feel that just radiates confidence. Let's talk about transitions. Remember that roadmap analogy we used earlier? Well, transitions are the signposts on that map. They're the small words and phrases that connect your big ideas and tell your audience, okay, we're done with that point, now we're moving over here. They make the journey for the listener completely seamless. And please don't overthink these. We're talking about really simple words like first or next, or on the other hand, or in conclusion. They seem so small, but their impact on whether your audience can follow you is absolutely huge. They're like the invisible glue that holds your whole presentation together. So, let's wrap this all up. The big takeaway here is a really simple chain reaction. Great organization creates clarity. A good outline is what makes that organization actually happen. And having that clear structure, that's the secret sauce for building unshakable confidence. At the end of the day, even the best ideas get lost in chaos, but they shine when they're presented with clarity. You have important things to say. Your ideas deserve to be heard, to be understood, and to be remembered. So the only real question left is, how are you going to structure them?